Okay, folks, it's time to get rocking here. Excuse me? Okay. Are we ready to go? I really want to snap my neck, but it just doesn't want to do it anymore. What your parents talk to you about when you get older, they're right. If things don't, like, right now, when I was your age, I could just go like, and it go, and life would be good. How many people can do that?
I just did it.
Right? Yeah, I can't. It's just so tight, it can't happen. Chloe, AJ, switch. Now, here's the deal. First off, great job on the quizzes. These quizzes are so important on so many levels because they let me know what I need to, as a whole, work on with you guys. And it allows you to know what you need to work on personally. And then we can set some focus on getting good at those particular areas. My friend who lives out in California, Victoria, her frustration with one of the classes she takes is that what's on the tests never reflects what she's working on, what she's studying on, or studying for and preparing for. And it's got to be horribly frustrating. I know she's frustrated, and I don't know if you've ever done that, like you study like crazy for a test, and you walk in and you take the test, and the stuff you studied is not on the test, but there's all this other stuff, and you end up getting a very disappointing grade. It doesn't, in no way, shape, or form does it measure how smart you are. In no way, shape, or form does it measure your ability to learn the material and process and know the material. What happens is, it's like a trick. It's like they tell you, okay, now today you're gonna learn how to drive a car, and then you go down and you go to take your road test, and all of a sudden they say, okay, let's do a motorcycle. Well, I haven't practiced that. Of course you're not gonna do well. And it doesn't mean you're bad. It doesn't mean you're stupid. It means that you didn't prepare as necessary for this test. And it may or may not be your fault. Now, one of the really cool things about this class is that I'm very upfront with you about exactly what's gonna be on tests. You know what's coming. There's never any deceit. And the second thing is, by me looking at your quizzes, I have a really good feel for how you're doing, God bless. And by you looking at your quizzes, you should have a really good idea how you're doing. In fact, I will guarantee you that if Victoria's class was run the way this class is run, her results would be a whole lot better because she works really hard and she's really smart. They just constantly put stuff on the test that has absolutely nothing to do with what's supposed to be on the test. Now, we're in very good shape equation-wise. Rare was the kid who made a mistake on those multi-step equations. Very rare. The property, generally speaking, we look very good on the property. I think only 1 or 2 people missed the property. So you guys are doing a really good job with that. Now, the next thing that we have to make sure that we're able to put into our bag of tricks, if you will, or to really know what we're doing with, is this whole idea of combining like terms. You know, when I was growing up, I had a grandfather. You guys ever see the movie Gran Torino?
Nope.
You never saw the movie Gran Torino? Oh, you're a little young because it's got a lot of foul language in it. But if you go home and ask your parents if they saw it, they probably did. And my grandfather was exactly like Clint Eastwood, the lead character in that movie Gran Torino. Old school, tough.
Oh, like Wild West, Clint Eastwood?
But put into present day. Just a very hard man. When this country went through the Great Depression, I talked about it last week with the distributive property, and we talked about distributing things to the needy and how the word to distribute means to give out. They're often called the greatest generation of Americans. The people, Americans who are now between, say, 85 or 80 and 105 years old, if they happen to live that long. My grandfather was 96, a couple days short of 97 when he died. Now, these men were able to survive the Great Depression. My grandfather would tell you that he ate ketchup sandwiches for 3 years. That was dinner. They had no money for anything else. He would go fishing, and he would catch fish during certain times a year. And when he would catch the fish, he would bring them home and they would eat the fish. Maybe that's why fishing is such a big part of my blood. They would also grow gardens. Communities would grow gardens together, and they would all share the gardens, and that was the way they got fresh vegetables. But other than that, it was ketchup sandwiches most days of the week, most nights, It was what they called oleo, which was margarine, distributed by the government to people. My grandfather, I have the letters at my home. He asked for a special dispensation from the government for more than 2 gallons of gas a week. People lived on 2 gallons of gas. And back then, cars got like 10 miles to the gallon, 9 miles to the gallon. So people walked everywhere. It was a really hard time. And then this same generation of Americans stormed the beaches at Normandy and beat back Hitler. They beat back the Japanese Imperial Army that bombed Pearl Harbor. These were truly great Americans. Wonderfully tough people who had a really good feel for how you should do things. For example, they actually balanced the budget, something our government has lost complete track of. Wonderful, wonderful, amazing people. And my grandfather was a no-nonsense human being, no nonsense. I remember once when I was a little kid, I didn't want to brush my teeth when I was little. I don't know if any of you guys were like that, but I hated brushing my teeth. And I had no cavities. So I'm like 5, 6, 7 years old, I have no cavities, and why are you supposed to brush your teeth?
You don't smell bad.
Well, now it's that way. As soon as girls became a part of my life, and yo amo chiquitas, as soon as that became a part of my life, my breath mattered to me. Before that, I didn't care what my breath smelled like. It made no difference whatsoever. But here's the scoop. I wouldn't brush my teeth. And my mom, how many people here, when your mom tells you to do something, pay absolutely no attention to it?
Me.
Right here. Let the record show virtually every hand in the room is up. Now, if my dad told me, and it was a beating, I might do it. But I wouldn't brush my teeth. I just wouldn't do it. So I remember one day, my mother looked at my grandfather and said, he's not brushing his teeth. So my grandfather looks at me and says, your mother told you to brush your teeth. And I was like, I'm not brushing my teeth. Back then I had hair. All right, I was like 6, 7 years old. He just grabbed me by the hair. He dragged me into the bathroom. He took out his toothbrush, not even my own. He slaps the toothpaste on it, puts the water on it, puts it in his mouth, or in my mouth, and he brushed my teeth. Man, he cut me up. I had blood coming out of my mouth. Do you think I brushed my teeth from then on?
No.
Oh, absolutely I did. I was not dealing with Papa.
I thought you did.
Papa was a very hard man. And near the end of his life, I was the only person in the family who could deal with him. Nobody else could. He was just he was a cantankerous. He would do anything for his family. He would die for his family. He had so much money, he would give money to his family. He would do anything. But you just didn't mess with Papa. That's just the way the rule was. You just didn't do it. So anyway, I remember how I learned how to put windows in my house. My grandfather comes over to my house one day, he looks in my garage, and he sees all of these brand new Anderson windows. And he says to me, this was back, not the house I own now, the house I used to own. He says, I've been coming over here for 6 months, you haven't put the windows in yet, what are you waiting for? I said, I got my brother-in-law Jeff. My brother-in-law Jeff is gonna come over the house, he's gonna put them in, he's a contractor. I said, I don't know how to put windows in. He goes, you have a degree in physics. You have a master's degree. How in the world can you not know how to put a window in? He said, I'll be over Saturday, and we're gonna put the windows in. So he comes over to the house. The first thing you have to do to put a window in is take a window out. So he teaches me how to take windows out, and he teaches me how they're all framed in and everything else. And then he very lovingly, very painstakingly insults me all day long, or well, for a couple hours, and we get our first window in. And I learned how to put windows in. I learned about headers, footers, jack studs, nailing edges, the whole deal. We get it all put in, and he brings over all his tools. Now, Papa's tools, I own them now. They were from Grumman. They were actually used to build the bombers in World War II. And these are really, really good tools, and they're super expensive. I have them behind cabinets in a locked house, and the cabinets are locked. Okay, with padlocks, the whole deal, like super expensive padlock. These are no-nonsense tools, really, really big things. He brings those tools over in buckets. And he shows me how to rip the windows out. So at this point in time, we put one window in, and I got 5 or 6 windows not put in my house. Literally, they're open, like, you know, bats can fly through. All of this stuff, and he looks at me, he goes, okay, I'm going home. I said, what? He goes, yeah, I'm going home. I said, what do you mean we gotta put the windows in? He goes, no. You have to put the windows in. It's gonna be really cold tonight if you don't. I said, what? He goes, yeah, you learn by doing.
That honestly sounds like my grandpa.
Yeah, old school. He says, you don't learn by watching me put windows in. Does that sound familiar? How many times have I said, do your work, you learn by doing. You don't learn by watching me do equations, otherwise when your Regents comes along, you look up and go, hey, Mr. Lakers, how do you do this? That's not what you need. You need to do it, and you need to screw up. So, did I screw up putting those windows in? You bet. Absolutely. But the second window, do you think I screwed up the same things as on the first window?
Yes.
No, not a chance. By the time I got to the fourth window, I could put a window in with no problem. Knew exactly what I was doing. Minimum of effort, super efficient, everything streamlined, everything worked right. So, the job gets done. It's time to return the tools to Papa. Now, my grandfather had a bucket principle. If you went in his garage, there were buckets lining the walls. And one bucket would be for, say, rough work, and one bucket would be for finish work, and one bucket would be for spackling work, and one bucket would, buckets for everything, and they're all labeled. God forbid you put the wrong tool in the wrong bucket. Oh, God. Do you thought the toothbrush was bad? Oh, my God. It would be horrible. And like I said, when he got to near the end of his life, nobody in my family would deal with him. I was the only one. I gave him showers. I cleaned them. I did all of these other things. Because if they walked through the door, he just bit their head off. He was just a very hard man. But he wouldn't do that with me. First off, I was the golden child. I was the firstborn grandchild. The firstborn grandchild is always the golden child. And I could get away with anything. And the second thing is that he knew not to bother because I wouldn't take it. All right. Now, this is what Papa's bucket principle basically means. We're going to put everything in its own bucket here. Yes. Here's 3 buckets. Ready?
You see, now it makes sense why it didn't produce any results.
Okay, ready? Here we go. Hey, attention, por favor. Thank you. This bucket is going to be my n squared bucket. So I'm going to put 2 n squareds there. Now, what kind of 5n is this? Everybody? Negative. We always look in front. So this is going to be standard polynomial order, right? The n squareds, then the n's, and then, so I have my 2n squared in its bucket. I have my negative 5n in its bucket. Now this n squared has to go with the other n squared. Yesterday we talked about laundry, right? When you fold your laundry, you make a pile of, say, your undies. You don't put your jeans in the drawer with the undies, right?
Right.
All right. Next, negative 3n. And then this negative 4 goes in this little old bucket on the end. Now, tell me, altogether, what's in the n squareds bucket? Everybody. 3n squareds. Now, what's in the n bucket?
Negative 8n.
And that's exactly what you write. Please don't look at this as subtract 8n. There's times when it's okay to look at it like that. This is not one of them. And the last one is minus 4. So here is my answer. God bless. 3n squared minus 8n minus 4. Okay? And that is Papa's bucket principle. That everything goes in its own bucket and a bucket for everything. If those 2 rules are followed, you're going to be able to get it right. As long as you don't make an integer mistake. Next up, number 2. Solve for x. All right, so first off, I look at this, there's no distributes. Is this a same side or an opposite side situation?
Opposite.
It's actually both. But we always want to begin with same side. Same side? Very good. So, 5x's minus 2x is this?
3x.
Plus another x?
4x.
Minus 8 equals 24. And then how many x's there?
2x.
All right, so now it becomes opposite side. Minus 2x. Minus 2x, opposite side, opposite operation. 2x minus 8 is 24. And 8, and 8. Die. 2x is 32. Divide by 2. Die. X is 16. Yeah, you gotta feel good. You gotta like get it out of your system. Sometimes you just want to hit something.
Yes.
Right? Sometimes you just want to give it a shot right upside the head. This is therapy. Okay. All right. Excuse me. Guys. Now, I would like to use the calculator to check my answer. So let's get it out. We talked about this trick the other day. And it is a gimmick. It makes life really easy, but sometimes it's important to be able to do that. So for y1, we're going to write the left side of the equation, namely, and literally don't even do the combining like terms in your head. Type exactly what you see. That way you know you can't make a mistake. 5x minus 2x plus x minus 8, that goes in y1. In y2 goes 24 plus x. Then graph them both and go to table. And I would just scroll through the table until x is 16, and you'll see that the two y values are equal to each other. Okay? Janelle, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yay.
Yeah, Kaylee, can you show her?
Well, I'm doing it, but I don't understand like what is
Yes,
happening?
when Kaylee gets this through, you can do this, right, Kaylee? When you get through with that, show her what I'm talking about, okay? Thanks.
Got it.
Oh, yeah, right.
Remember, you gotta get to where x is 16 to see that the y's are equal. Kind of working a little backwards there, but.
X is 16.
What's that? Yeah. Right, when you get to your table and you look up where x is 16, the two y's are gonna match. X is 16, so scroll down.
Oh, yep, they match them.
Yeah, they match.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're
Now,
not.
look, see how they're both 56? So that means they're equal, and since they're equal, now I know the value of x that makes them equal.
56
Makes
is
sense?
all.
Okay, so, thank you. As you look through the table, you'll notice that when x is 16, both of the y's are 56. So what that means is that the left side will equal the right side when the x value is 16. Okay? So that allows us a means of checking our answer on the calculator. Now, I wouldn't put it in the calculator first unless I was completely clueless on the equation, which I don't think will ever happen. But if you're like Spencer and you are prone to the sloppy mistake, if you are like Carissa and you are the queen of the careless mistake, if you're taking a test and if you finish early and if you have extra time, I would take the calculator and do exactly what we just did. Scroll down to my answer for x, look over and make sure the y's match. That's a great way to check your work. Also, if you get an answer that is a fractional answer or a decimal answer, you probably won't be able to use this technique. It only works with whole number answers. Okay, that's not 100% true, but I don't have time to explain how to go the other way yet. Later in the year I will. Okay, so, combining like terms. Papa's bucket principle. Do numbers 1 and 2. Go.
I already finished it.
Hey, math week's meeting after school today, if any of you guys should be interested. It's pretty fun normally. Yeah, no, we have the big
Here's the
club.
fun thing about that. You don't do that.
Okay, we're working on
Literally has been that. We get 5 questions, we finish them in 10 minutes, and we talk about politics for the rest of the day.
That's not completely true. Because now that we have debate club, we talk politics in debate club.
I don't think that you're gonna be able to.
But at some point, someone has to help Noah defend himself.
That's true.
This is for the extra help. Is it only in the mornings?
Here's the deal, ready? Monday, Wednesday, Thursday mornings. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday mornings, 7:40. And Tuesday, patch open for library at 5:30. 5:30 to 7:30, and that's at night. Okay, so Tuesday nights, 5:30 to 7:30. Yeah, it's the one on Main Street. And actually, you know what I hear? I hear that next week we might be switching to the one down by the courthouses. The old one that they restored.
Oh, the Carnegie.
Yeah, the Carnegie one. That's what I've started to hear.
I don't wanna walk. down.
Okay, ready? Very quickly. I'm gonna do the second one, and then I'm gonna tell you the answer to the first one, and if you wanna talk about the first one, we can. So, I look at my x squareds. These would be in a bucket if I wanted to draw them out. 3x squareds and a negative x squared. All together, what do I have? Come on, 3x squared and a negative x squared. What do I have? 2x squareds. Negative 4x and negative 8x. What do I have? Negative 12x. And then positive 1 and negative 3. What do I have? Good. Excellent. Now, over here, what you need to realize is that an AB is different than a BC. So I have 4 ABs, 3 ABs, 7 ABs, and then I have minus 1 or just negative BC. Okay? All right, now what I want to talk about is number 4, and this is really the only new thing for today. Everything else we've talked about, we've already covered. What we're going to do here, if you notice the difference between number 4 and everything we've done before this over the last 2 days, is there's this minus sign here in front of the parentheses. Now, if I write the letter x as a variable, what's in front of the x that I don't bother to write? A 1. So it's really 1x. Just like that, there's really one of these parentheses. So what you're going to do is realize that's not just a 1. What kind of 1 is that? It's a negative 1. So I am going to distribute, because this is a number outside a parenthesis, I am going to distribute that negative 1 to everything in the parenthesis. Now when I multiply by 1, the number value stays the same. But when I multiply by a negative, what do I do to every sign? You negate them. To negate a sign means to change the sign. So, nothing happens to the 3x squared, nothing happens to the 5x, nothing happens to the negative 2. Now, every sign inside the package is going to change. That was a positive x squared, now it's negative. What kind of 7x is this?
Positive.
Negative, so it becomes a positive. I think you're a step ahead of me, Spencer. And the 9 was negative, so it becomes a positive. And now you just do what we did yesterday. Papa's bucket principle, get all the like things together, okay? I want you to change all the signs in number 5. Put the little 1 there, distribute the negative 1 to every sign, and get them all to change. And that is what you should have. Does that make sense, everybody? Right? So the key lesson for today, the thing you need to understand, just like there's a 1 in front of the x, there's a 1 in front of a package. And when it's a negative 1, I distribute a negative to the entire package, and when I multiply by a negative, I negate or change signs. Hasta la vista, vaya con Dios, Tulu, tata, arrivederci, smile a lot. Ciao, arrivederci, adios amigos, y amigas, cheerio, gadafis, garushus, sayonara, hasta la pasta.
I'm not going to be here today because I have a presentation training.
Nice.
But is there work that I should get now, or should I just get it Tuesday?
I can get it now. Sure.
Wait.
Ah, Mount Carmel, North Ocean, just on the summer, it's on the right. All right.
So not ready.
Thank you, Brian.
You getting the young man's life? You did get 100 on the plate, right?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Great and good.
Melissa Harper to room 205. Melissa Harper to room 205, please.
Bye, Alyssa.
All right, folks. Let's go.
Hardcore parkour. Hardcore parkour.
Morning, Mr. Nichols.
Good morning, how are you guys?
Good. I'm good. Are you gonna ask the girls or you guys?
Am I what?
Are you gonna ask the girls or you guys?
Oh, I just say everybody.
Good morning, South
Kid
Ocean
Hut!
High School. Today is Friday, October 14th. Please rise for the pledge.
Will, Caitlin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. We have several announcements today. Congratulations to Blake Underwood on his varsity golf match win yesterday, and congratulations on a great season. I'm pleased to announce South Ocean's Artist of the Month, Kaylee Wimmer. Kaylee created a beautiful op art contour hand project. Excellent work, Kaylee. Attention music students, please turn in your SCMEA nomination forms to your music teacher. GEO will be having their next meeting on Monday after school in room 206. The photography club will be held on Monday, October 17th, right after school in room 318. Feel free to bring a camera or cell phone for photos. Next week is Spirit Week here at South Ocean. Show your school spirit by participating each day. Monday will be Twin Day. Find a friend and dress like twins. Do you enjoy fun and challenging math problems? If so, the first Math Leads meeting will be on Friday, meeting today, right after school in room 318.